How's it going, Clarissa? How's it going, Val? How are you guys doing? We got to go live right now. We got to put on the banner. Let's see. Ask me questions, or get pumped, or hard work pays off, or just really anything. I haven't done an update since my site selection visit from my Yuma clinical research site. I've actually got a list. Maybe this would be a good way to kick off the live stream. I've got a list of questions. Thank you, Clarissa. Yes, awesome. Awesome is the that's a good way to look at it. So I have a bunch of action items after my site selection visit, and remember, it's a new site, and this is actually it's a study with a lot of moving parts. It's honestly not a beginner study. And to be honest with you, the budget is not, it's slightly under fair market value for the work that we have to end up putting in. But beggars can't be choosers. And it's my first study. And we got a PI who's very interested. So, Gabby Marinello, oh my God, it's been so long since I've seen you anywhere. Drop me a text, Gabby, how things are going. I have no idea what happened with you. Like, keep me posted, or please. So there's a study. It's a psoriasis study. Okay, and another one in derm, but I don't want to give it away. Give away the sponsor. But my PI is really excited about it. My sub I is really excited about it. Both are research naive, and it was very important for them to be at the site selection visit. So here's just an example, guys, of, and remember, now this is me doing it on my own. I haven't hired anyone. It's myself, my wife, the PI, and the nurse practitioner business partner. All right, so here's after the site selection visit, which went well, we have a list of action items. So for the PI, we're missing the current medical license. I thought I sent it, but I'm going to look for it again. We need the CV that needs to be signed. The GCP, the file I sent, they were not able to open it, so I got to get it again. For the sub-Is, this study requires 2 sub-Is, 2 specialist sub-Is. All right, so note to file podcast. We got Brad Hightower in the house. What is up, Brad? By the way, anybody on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, I know it's late. I know it's late on the East Coast. But you know what? We don't care. When you're in the business of either your career or your own site, like your literal business or your literal career, there is no time. It's just always, you're always on. Back to the grind. Yes, I'm back to the grind and broadcasting it all. Brad, let's do another podcast. Josie Lynn, how's it going? Long time no see. So many people on here I haven't seen before, like in a long time. I've seen before. A lot of people I know I haven't seen in a long time. So this study requires 2 specialist PIs, which is very tough to get, especially in an underserved market like where I'm at in Yuma, Arizona. Specialists are hard to come by. Like they're not like in Orange County where I came from. And I'm going back there, by the way, next week. They're not like in Orange County where there's just a bunch of them everywhere and they're all independent. No, here it's like the hospital owns most of the practices. The ones that are independent, there's a few. The specialists, there are a few independent, but like literally 2 or 3 in the whole city. So like you have to pick who you want and then hope they say yes. Now, so far, all the specialists I talked to, they've all said yes, 100% of them. The problem is getting them to do things like GCP, getting them to send me their CVs signed. I mean, just simple things like, doctor, please send me your signed CV. This is a sub-ICE. Is requiring like multiple follow-up phone calls. I had to have my wife do it. Multiple texts from me. Text to their cell phone, the actual doctor's cell phone. Calls from my wife to their admins. It's like pulling teeth, guys. But this is what it's like. Do you guys think it's easy to own a site? It's not. Just the basic things like getting CV signed. And I'm not talking about my PI. I can go to my PI's office and get it signed anytime. I'm talking about the sub-Is. I walk into their office right now. Well, it's 5. They're probably going to close. But I walk into their office an hour ago. There's no way I'm seeing anybody, right? There's just no way. There's patients there. There's no way. So here's more pending action items. Sub-I's CV signed. Sub-I's license. I got both of those. Another Sub-I's license, the one they sent me, was expired. Their CV needs to be signed, and GCP for another one. Then for myself, my own CV was not signed, but that's easy. I got a printer right here. Print it out, sign it. Same thing for my wife, who's my assistant on this study. And then same thing for both of our IATA certificate need to be signed. And then my NP, he took care of all his stuff, signed CV. Shout out to Jaime Valles. IATA signed. Well, actually, he's not going to do the IATA. And then his medical license. And then the SOPs, right? I need to actually revise my SOPs because we've switched to eSource. So I have the informed consent process. What I was missing was the disaster emergency procedures in the event of a flood or a hurricane, which, trust me, is not going to happen in Yuma, Arizona. But the fact that we have eSource, it's literally just a paragraph I have to write. So as soon as we're done going live, I'm going to do it. 2C, how's it going? 2C82. How is it going? So what? I missed a comment here. What happened? Gabby, yep. Are they making you have a specialist as a PI? Specialists are hard to get. No. They said my family practice doctor can do it all. But we need specialists for certain efficacy assessments and certain safety assessments. So yeah, they're tough. But I have it all. It's just a matter of getting the things like CVs. It's time consuming. Other documents to collect. So we don't have calibration certificates. So my NP, Jaime, he's in the process of calling his vendors to get it set up. They have to come all the way from Phoenix, which is like a 2-hour drive. You already know they're going to charge a lot for that. Luckily, you only need to do that once a year. So we need to do the scale, the blood pressure machine, thermometer, centrifuge, spirometry machine, CLIA waiver. We actually have a CLIA. I have to go to the office tomorrow and get it. So I'll do another follow-up video tomorrow. Now, somebody was asking me related to this. What's the overhead? What's the site startup costs for a site in like someplace in Georgia? I think it was Duluth, Georgia or something. It doesn't matter where you are, guys. Your startup cost to run a site could be 0. All right, they could be 0. It's unlikely to ever be 0 because you're always going to need things like a website, email address. You're going to need like calibrations. Most doctors don't have things calibrated. You need calibration. You may not need to buy the equipment. You may not need to lease space. You may not need to hire a study coordinator if you do it yourself. Those are the costly things. So when I say 0, I mean pretty close to 0 as you can. I had to buy a -20 freezer. It cost like $300. I had to buy a lock for it. That was like $30. I had to buy an IP cabinet. I'm going to have to buy another IP cabinet because it was too small. So I'm going to buy 2 of them. That was $200 each. And then I bought a website, I bought email. So I out the pocket, I'm not paying any rent for my doctor. I'm working out of the doctor's office. I'm not hiring any staff. It's me and my wife and the NP who is a partner. So no money coming out. To start up, I'm a client of DSCS. So I get study leads from Julie and from Chris, and Chris helps with the budget negotiation, all that stuff that we normally charge clients $1,300 a month. I obviously own that company, so I get that for free, but I'm treated no different than any other client. So I'm trying to think what other costs. That's pretty much it. And then my gas, like going to the doctor. Really, the biggest cost is the opportunity cost, because it is, if you're the owner, it is going to be a full-time job at some point, maybe not in the beginning. So you're going to need to figure out how you're going to make money, how are you going to pay your own bills, personal living expenses for like a year. And I just interviewed Lee in Phoenix, who's a site owner. He just started a site a year ago. And he said, man, if you can't save up like a year of living expenses, you shouldn't do this. And I think he's absolutely right. Gabby says, do you include the overhead charges in the patient budget for PI percentage, or do you pay based on assessment only? The way I worked it out with my PI, I pay him a flat percentage off of everything. It includes overhead. It's even going to include startup costs, because he's not charging me rent. He's not charging me to use his phlebotomist. I mean, he has phlebotomists in the office in his practice just sitting around. So he said that they will do it for free, since technically I work for him and they're his patients. They're going to draw blood for free. So yeah, I'm not going to nickel and dime this PI. I want to actually make him a partner. But for the sub-Is, I pay just for assessments, fee for service, and they get paid very well. But for the PI, I pay just off the top. Whenever we get a check, let's say it's 20 grand, I pay him X percentage. I'm not going to say the number, because I don't want people to think like that's a rule. It's every situation varies. Every situation's different. I'll tell you, it's between 10 to 50% of the gross budget. I'll say that much. 10 to 50% of the gross budget. Generally, the more they provide, the more they're gonna get. As far as I kicked the tripod. Yeah, so the more they provide, the more you're supposed to pay them. So anyways, I'm trying to make this PI a partner. So yeah, I'm not nickel and diming. Definitely not. And tomorrow I'll be there again, dropping off the freezer, the -20 freezer, collecting the CLIA certificate, collecting his signed license, getting his CV signed. And he's already texting me about, hey, let's find some more studies. He wants some weight loss studies now. So I'm looking to find some studies for him. So that's the case. My mom's house. Oh, Myra, what up? That's my niece, Myra. I can't. I'm so busy. I don't have time for anything. I don't have time to do anything. I barely have time to print papers right now, but I appreciate it. Definitely. Right. So this is to answer the person's question on startup, like how much you should save up. And by the way, all those costs I mentioned go way up, way, way, way higher when you start factoring things like I'm going to hire a coordinator, like I need to lease a space, like I need to buy equipment. Like those things add up. It could get, like, just the equipment alone could get 6 to 12 grand, right? I mean, I'm talking everything like phlebotomy chairs, ECG tables, ECG machine, centrifuge, IP cabinets, drug storage, PK freezer. We have to actually buy an incubator for the study. I found one for like $400. So all just equipment alone, if you don't have a doctor or a provider who has these things, you come out of pocket for that, right? Then the lease. In some of these cities, rent is expensive. All right. I don't know so much about Duluth, Georgia, but and it's not just the money with these leases. It's the fact that when you're a new business, they're going to want a personal guarantee, unless you could pay up front like 6 months of rent, which most people who are starting up businesses, they want to reduce the upfront costs, right? So, and then if you throw in hiring coordinator, I mean, you might be able to get an MA, which is a medical assistant that you train. Maybe you put them through something like the CRC Academy. That's only $3,500. You could probably get away paying your MA like $36K a year. Maybe a little more, a little less in some places. Make them a coordinator once they become experienced enough. 6 to 12 months in, you're going to have to increase their salary. So I'm doing it all on my own at first. Once we start getting revenue, I can start hiring people. And remember, I'm in an underserved city, so I can't hire experienced coordinators. There's no such thing. Like there's literally probably just me in this entire city. Well, there's probably the hospital in the town does oncology studies, so there's probably coordinators there that have experience, but that's oncology. I'm doing family medicine, so and they're gonna get paid a lot. So I'm gonna train everybody myself, put them through my own CRC academy. I'm my own client. I'm getting study leads, things like that. Gappy and sponsors don't pay fast enough. It starts adding up quick. Yeah, I know it does. Take advantage of free rent while you can. Once the docs see the money, that usually changes. Yes. Not when they're considering becoming partners, though. The problem with my current physician setup, and I'm not established enough, like their staff doesn't know me well enough to allow me to record in there. And they're too busy, so I don't want to like put patients' faces out there. But it's a huge clinic, but there's all the space is already being taken by different providers. So I'm lucky to just have like a monitoring space and a coordinating space, and then we piggyback on all the other stuff. Like there's barely room for investigational product, and there's barely room to put the freezer and things like that. So I'm gonna have to rent my own space anyways. The difference is I'll have revenue coming in, so it's less risky. Plus, I know what I'm doing, so it's less risky at that point too. And it'll be nice. We'll always do studies at different doctors' offices in town, about as far as we can max out space-wise at those places. So I already figured out with my current PI, we're probably maxed out after 4 or 5 studies in his office. With my dermatologist, it's probably 2. With my other dermatologist, it's probably 2. With my ophthalmologist, it's probably 0. We can use him for assessments, but to actually do studies there, it's probably 0. So I'm going to need my own space soon. And I'm thinking in a few months. So get these studies going, get some patients in, get some revenue going. Another thing I'm using is Creo, which is eSource. That's something that you're going to have to pay for as well, but it's optional. Like if you're starting up, you may not need to use Creo or any eSource. Like you can just use Paper Source. That's free. So those are the costs. I'm trying to do my best to. Rod Raphael, what's up, man? Never forget 9/11. I know. And thank you for the comments, the robot comments. Very helpful. Hard to believe. Very hard to believe. It's 20 years since 9/11. I mean, I remember I was a freshman in college, sophomore in college when that happened. And I was sleeping in, not going to class like I was supposed to, sleeping in. My dad called me, woke me up, telling me, did I see what happened on CNN? I turned it on. That was when the first tower, right? The plane went in the first tower. And he called me because my aunt was working in Manhattan. And so he was like, hey, put it on the CNN. Like, it's crazy. A plane crashed into the World Trade Center. And then I put it on. And within 3 minutes, the second plane hit. And I was like, oh, man, this is not accident. This is like some crazy stuff going on. And I remember like I was even scared to go to school that day, to go to college, because I was worried. Like, what if this is like a planned attacks on universities? And I was at a big school, University of Arizona. I had no idea. Everybody was worried, super worried and afraid. I remember that feeling. So can't believe 20 years ago. I mean, honestly, doesn't feel like that long. It doesn't. It doesn't. Alicia, hey Dan, Alicia here. Do you partake in any global studies? And if so, what's that process like for you? How do you secure sites on a global level? It's no different. Yes, most of the studies Well, I wouldn't say most. I would say about half of the studies are international studies that I've done as a site, and it's no difference. I mean, if they didn't tell you it was global, you wouldn't know it was global. So it makes no difference. So how do you secure sites on a global level? I don't know. Like if you're, I'm assuming you're like in Latin America or in Europe or in Australia, trying to figure out how to get a U.S. study that allows international sites. No different than how a U.S. site's going to get it. I mean, it's just follow up, follow up, follow up. It's literally what I'm doing every week. It's following up, following up, following up. So late at night, Instagram is more active than YouTube. Well, late. This is late for East Coast. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, note to file, man. Hit me up so we can do podcasts. We can like do each other's podcasts. Balasta Brew sent a request to be in your live video. Look, I can't because this is the mic. I won't be able to hear you. And then this is the mic here. Like I don't have headphones for this thing. I can't go like maybe when I go Instagram only. Alicia says also, do you have any tips for mastering CTMS, clinical trial management system? Any guides? There's no guidelines that are helpful tricks for mastering the system. You just got to learn the system. As a site owner, I use Creo, like I said, for eSource and eReg, and it has a built-in CTMS. Quite honestly, it's very simple to use. I mean, it tells you what money is outstanding, when patients are supposed to come. It lets me do some basic communication with people. It lets me send a text through the system. That's Creo, clinicalresearch.io. But every CTMS is different. I've only used Creo. It's my only CTMS system I've ever used as a site. So I'm the wrong person to ask this question, but there's nothing to master. As a site owner, what you need to master is how to get studies, how to get patients, and how to keep your providers happy. There's no benefit to mastering a CTMS. If you have one and you can use it, like it's supposed to be a productivity tool to increase efficiency at your site. It's not going to increase your top line revenue. Accident, bro, my bad. No worries. Bowels to brew. No, I mean we can do it. It's just no one's gonna hear you. I won't even hear you. How bad is COVID where you are at? You planning to do COVID trials? COVID's not bad here. I'm in a rural place. They don't really talk too much about it on the news here. I left California when there was like that another surge. Now it seems to be getting better there too. I mean, I would say COVID's no different today than it was like earlier in the year, right? With the Delta variant. Are we planning to do COVID trials? There's a lot of them. I want to. My wife doesn't want me to, and my PI kind of doesn't want them. My wife, because she's scared of getting COVID, and then my PI, because he didn't really give me a reason. But I guess because they see so many patients in the clinic, he thinks it's better not to do it, not to bring COVID patients in there. And I respect that. I don't want COVID studies necessarily either. They're a lot of work. Some of them require 7 days a week, and I'm the only staff member right now. So got to be selective with my studies. And quite honestly, these first 2 studies I have, or that I'm going to get, knock on wood, I'm going to get. Like, I'm excited about it because it's my first studies and my PI and NP get their first study under their belt. But it's a lot of work and it's not, like the pay is under fair market value. A novice would look at the budget and say, whoa, that's a huge budget. But when you break down the work that's involved, it's actually slightly under fair market value. So yeah, Ashley Margo, what is up? The best productivity coach, career mentor. CRA Academy is lucky to have you there. CRC Academy is lucky to have you there. Latinos in Clinical Research. Super lucky to have you there. So, job titles. All right, today I interviewed Tiffany Ashton from Clin Essentials. Glad I remembered that. Shout out to them. They sent me a care package. I was going to unbox it live because I didn't get it prior to our interview. But man, what an eye-opening interview. Like, that goes to show you that even when you've been in this industry, I've been in this industry full-time since 2005. Full-time. No breaks. No, like, let's take some months off to find yourself. No, full-time, 2005 till present. If you count part-time, throughout college, I've done it like 4 more years. I learned in this interview with her like specific nuances and intricacies of what clinical trial managers go through, at least at big CROs and at some sponsors. And I learned about study rescue from the sponsor and CRO level, because I know about study rescue from a site level, like when you need to send the SWAT team into a site. But she's a clinical trial manager. She talks and get candid about that. Now, clinical trial manager, because I promised you guys in the title, we're going to talk about job titles. Clinical trial manager might mean project manager at another place, or it might mean lead CRA at another place. It won't mean line manager in another place, but it might mean all of those things to some people. So, wow, Rod Raphael is doing some breaking news. Maybe it's not so breaking. But as far as these job titles go, the whole point of all this is Ashley Margot, who's a remote site monitor, knows how to get their foot in the door. And she's been helping us with CRA Academy and CRC Academy, and for free, for absolutely $0. All right. On Latinos in Clinical Research, which, by the way, I need to upload our excellent LICR meetup yesterday with Eli Lilly. I have to upload that. I'm going to upload that to the Latinos in Clinical Research YouTube channel. I only attended a little bit of it, so I'm going to watch the whole thing and react to it. So I'm going to give my commentary and react to it. That should be fun. That should be a lot of time, and it should be fun. So stay tuned for that on my Latinos in Clinical Research, on our Latinos in Clinical Research YouTube channel, as well as on my channel, where I react to it. I'm going to fast forward it, and I'm actually trying to get a study with Eli Lilly. Rod, my PI wants a weight loss study with Eli Lilly. We need to figure out how to get those. I want her info. Ashley Margot's info? She's up here. Ashley, if you're still watching, Josie Lynn, all right, put your comment something so Josie Lynn can see you and hit you up in the DM. This is what we do on Guru Nation. Okay, YWA2000A says, "Hi, Dan. How were you able to connect with a PI in Arizona? I'm trying to set one up in the Dallas area after years of working in Tampa and wanted to see the best way to connect with PIs. Yawa, I'm going to tell you, the old-fashioned way. You roll up your sleeves, you identify 100 of them, and you use LinkedIn Premium, and you use email, and you use phone, and you use your legs, and you walk to the clinic, and you get face-to-face with the doctor. All right. With me, the PI I got, it took me 3 months. I've messaged 100 doctors. My wife helped me out. We messaged 100 doctors. 3 of them replied. 1 had issues with their license. We threw them out. Can't work with them. The other 2, we're going to do studies with both of them. And then once I got them, then they were able to point me to specialists. So I can just target, without doing that mass reaching out. But it was not easy. But it was nothing special. It's like exercise. If somebody asks me, and I'm not a personal trainer, if somebody asks me how am I going to lose weight, I mean, you guys want to hear something like special. It's nothing special. How are you going to lose weight? You're going to eat better and you're going to exercise. I mean, for the most part, even if you have an underlying medical condition, those two things right there will help a lot. Same thing with how do you find a PI? You got to talk to more PIs. You got to talk to more physicians. All right. And then don't let gatekeepers keep you away. Bring my book if you have to. Take a copy of my book, The Comprehensive Guide to Clinical Research, and go walk in there with that book and say, I watched this guy on YouTube. Send me an email, and so you can say that you talked to the author, maybe embellish it a little to get that face to face, because then they'll take you seriously. Watch my last video I did on my YouTube channel. I interviewed a research naive physician on how Lee approached him. Don't start with money. Don't start with money. Doctors do care about money, but they don't want to seem like they care about it. So if you lead with money, they're going to think it's like some kind of scam. And they get approached by snake oil salesmen all the time. Some of those snake oil salesmen are pharmaceutical reps. All right. The book is on Amazon. Right now it's $3.99 on Kindle. You want to buy it? $3.99 on Kindle. We're going to change that soon. I don't know when, but right now it's $3.99. Matter of fact, I need to send another email blast to make sure all the followers get an opportunity to buy Kindle. And it's $33 on paperback, which is like 50% less than the next competing book. And the $3.99, I don't know, it's like 300% less or maybe more. Eli Lilly was great. Yeah. So Rod, please do it. Text me, Rod. I can tell you more about the drug. I don't know the name of the drug, but I know the pathway because of my doctor. Thanks. Very encouraging. Kind of my game plan. The only part of what you mentioned I did not think about was the LinkedIn Premium. Honestly, I'm not a salesperson for LinkedIn. LinkedIn Premium was how I got my doctors. And don't worry, doctors are busy. So what I did, I messaged the ones I could find on LinkedIn through Premium. It took my PI, the one who said yes, 3 months. 3 months to reply back. And what he replied back, let me pull it up right now. Let me pull it up right now live so I can tell you exactly, right? Let me find it. Let me find my thread with him. I recommend LinkedIn Premium for this kind of reasons. Maybe even for like if you're looking to get a job or even for a study, might be good, but definitely for physicians. So, okay, here it is. I messaged him March 3rd. Hi, doctor. My name is Dan. I have been involved. So let me read you guys this, okay? First of all, before I get to more questions, if you guys want me to read this, I'm gonna leave it up to you. If I need to see hearts on Instagram, and I need to see likes, hearts, whatever you want to put on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube right now. I want to see this first. I want this tactile response, right? Before I start getting into my private inbox for you guys. I'm not mentioning his name, but I have the message here in front of me. And when he replied back, it's funny. Okay, so I see the hearts there. Do I see likes on YouTube? I see the hearts there. Gabby says, read. It's nothing special either. Did you email them or call? Emailed on LinkedIn. So initially we emailed everybody by their emails. My wife helped me out a lot. She mapped it out. Then I found the ones that looked interesting on LinkedIn. And then I went in there, LinkedIn Premium. And so this is what happened. And he ignored the first email blast too. But I didn't let that stop me. Let's use LinkedIn Premium and see what happens. So I'm seeing, okay, so we're going to read this. Yeah, I'm going to read. Okay, hi, doctor. My name is Dan Sfera. I've been involved in clinic. This is my LinkedIn Premium message. Hi, doctor. My name is Dan Sfer, and I have been involved in clinical research in Southern California primarily since 2005. I happen to be moving to Yuma in July of this year, and I see an opportunity for bringing clinical research to the area. My family friend, who is the nurse practitioner, Jaime Valles, mentioned that he used to work with you at Yuma Regional Medical Center. He was the nurse supervisor for Towers 4 and 5 a few years back. Jaime told me to throw that in there. He speaks very highly of you. This is all true, by the way. He speaks very highly of you and your patient centric approach. I threw that industry buzzword in there because I know he didn't hear it before because he's not in research, but I know it's like intriguing enough to him to want to learn more, maybe. It's just, look, this is a shot in the dark. What I have to lose, he's just not going to read it. I have many pharma and biotech connections and have access to studies when we are ready. If you would like to discuss this idea, just let me know and I will set up a Zoom call with myself, Jaime, and our other business partner. I feel that Yuma is an ideal location to pursue this opportunity given its underserved and diverse population, as well as a total lack of competition. Let me know if there's any interest, and I would be more than happy to give you a macro overview for what community-based clinical research would entail for us in this particular context. Thanks. So I didn't mention my book. I didn't mention like YouTube. None of that, right? That was March 3rd. His reply, May 20th, right? So like 2.5 months, not quite 3 months. 2.5 months later, he says, one sentence, does it involve selling products? I mean, this is how disconnected like community clinicians are from research. They think it's about selling, like I have something to sell to his patients. I replied, not at all, just testing investigational medications and collecting data for the pharmaceutical companies. Let me know if you'd like to discuss further. He replies back, is there any cost to the patient? I say no, they actually get paid for their participation. His reply, nice. I'll be out for 2 weeks, but would like to talk when I get back. Then I said, sounds good. Just to let you know, I will set up a Zoom. I'm moving in July, so no rush. Boom, boom, boom. So then I set up the Zoom, and then he gave me a cell phone number, and then we stopped talking through LinkedIn. Yeah, and the Zoom was scheduled for June 11th. So it went from March 3rd to June 11th when I got to like face-to-face meet with him on Zoom. And then, okay, so Ashley, there's Ashley. Josie Lynn, you were looking for Ashley. Hit her up. So yeah, 3 months, right? Before I even like talked to this guy. And then the Zoom, basically, we said, hey, he said, hey, next time you're in town, let me know to see my office. See if it's something we can do. And then the next week I happened to be in town, so I stopped by. That's when I brought my book. I said, hey, I wrote this book. Then I did the education. I mean, look, there's nothing fancy about what transpired. And this happened with another doctor, basically the same process, with LinkedIn Premium again. And then they were both family medicine. And then with the specialists, I didn't go through all this because I was already here. And Dr. Smith told me, he's my PI, he told me which specialist to reach out to. And it was much easier. And then I walk in their offices with my book too. So look, nothing fancy. I'm just showing you, like, it's not what you say, it's just doing it and not thinking about it. Too many people think, oh, I need a business plan, I need a flyer. Somebody asked me the other day, and I'm sorry if you're watching, I'm not ignoring you. I haven't had time to even like print my own CV. So they want a flyer that I made. It's not about the flyer, guys. The flyer for the PI is just a talking point. It's not like a magnet. Like, it's just a piece of paper. It's not going to attract The doctor. It's not a magnet. It's not you just have a flyer and then magically the doctors want to talk to you. It's just a talking point. It's an icebreaker. Bring the bring a copy of my book. Bring the flyer, whatever. It's you that needs to be the selling point, right? You need to be the one. You need to be the flyer. You are the flyer. It's not the flyer. I'll send you the flyer, but it's not the flyer. All right. Yeah, that's. Really wish I could have said that in an email, but there wasn't a way for me to do that. I'm just gonna reply with the flyer, but say you're not. You are the flyer. You are the flyer, not the flyer. That's you don't just give it to them and say, "Hey, call me when you're ready." No, you got to follow up, and I had to follow up with this doctor. He said, yes, let's do it after our meetings in person. So I had to get his CV. I started applying for studies. It took 3 months to get that site selection visit. What is it now? September 15th? Happy birthday to my brother, by the way, Vic Sfera. I think he's 33 today. Happy birthday to my bro. But I think it was September 11th or September 10th that we had our first site selection visit. So from March 3rd to September 10th, what is that? March, April, May, June, July, August. 7 months trying to find this PI and then trying to get a study. It took me to get my site selection visit. Zero revenue has been made. Zero revenue's been made so far. Network. Know your stuff and your passion. Yep. So zero revenue. Okay. Between July and September, when the doctor said start applying for me to when we got the SSV, I was meeting with this doctor in his office face to face every week. Not necessarily because there were important things to talk about, but because I didn't want him to lose interest in research because I know it's going to take like 3 months to get our first study. And I don't want him to think or just to forget about research. Like I wanted that enthusiasm to still be there. So every week I went, we talked, we discussed what's an IP room, what's a 1572, what's a coordinator. Sometimes we just talk about things not related to research, get to know him better. So that's what it takes. And you got to do that for every PI that you want to bring on board. Right? You want to lose weight? You got to pedal or run. What indication are your studies? They're dermatology, and it's a family practice physician. So Josie, right above you is Ashley Margot. There you guys go. DM each other. Yeah, you guys. Okay, well, let's see. What positions? We're almost done, guys. What positions that have patient contact? Study coordinator. Anything at the site level. Anything at the site level has patient contact. CRO and sponsor level don't. Rod, shout out to Rod. How many times you reach out to him? I summarized it right now. Thank you. This is a common timeline. Yep. So I think that's it. I gotta go because I'm getting text right now, and we gotta go. I mean, this is like 43 minutes. I was planning 30 minutes. Thank you. I gotta take care of my work. I gotta take care of my action items, guys. I got action items right now, so I gotta take care of these things. It's hard. It's hard out here for a coordinator. All right. It's hard out here for a new site owner, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to bring studies to the underserved communities, and that'll be me. So, all right. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share. Stay tuned for my Latinos in Clinical Research reaction video. I'm going to try to do that later today. See what happens. Rod, thank you for the robots. Appreciate it, man. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.